We are live, ladies and gentlemen. I am Chris Knight. This is the Gospel According to Chris here on The Real Review 3000. And today we have Cracked Skull Media with us, formerly known as Geek in Disguise.
Yes.
And otherwise known as Mike. But
yep.
just real quick here, Mike, go ahead and tell them about you, your channel, what you're about, all that fun stuff. Get yourself out.
My channel's on hiatus. Still working on the rebranding, getting through the holidays, trying to get myself back up. Just working on mostly streams right now. But yeah, youtube.com/crackskullmedia, Twitter @crackskullmedia. Basically just kind of talking whatever, whatnot, man. Pop culture, comic book stuff, movies, television, gaming, whatever. I think here the past week or so, I've been working on some Fallen Order game streams, and
yeah, that Fallen Order is quite a game. I spent about 24 hours not sleeping until I realized, oh, wait a minute.
I've been slow playing it, one planet at a time, working my way through. Yeah, good stuff. I just,
yeah. So tonight, guys, we're talking, I called it the YouTube cop-out. We're talking about Coppa and the FTC and what it means for content creators like us, and in general, what it might do to us. I think a lot of people are kind of sitting here going like, well, wait a minute. A lot of videos out there, a lot of different information. It's like it's been piecemealed to us.
Yes.
Here's a little bit, here's a little bit, here's a little bit. But what does it all mean together? The one thing I'll tell you, everybody, about government agencies and anything government like this is if you don't read the 382 pages of filler crap in between it, you're not really getting the whole idea. So what we're getting is all these little bits and pieces to what it really means to us. But there's one thing that has not really been put out there. So we will talk right now, and let's start with this, Mike. What do you get from all of this? What do you think about this Coppa and the FTC stuff?
Like I said, it's kind of hard to peg right off the bat because, like I said, we're getting piece by piece. Everybody's different interpretations on what's happening and how it's going to affect them. And like I said, without thoroughly reading the laws and YouTube's terms of service and watching the videos, it's kind of a scary thing to experience because a lot of people, content creators like ourselves, we put a lot of effort into our channels, our work, and to face the repercussions that, like they say, is coming down the pike, like disabling comments, disabling search engine results as far as your videos and content go in Google, to cutting back ad revenue by almost, 90%. And we're going from pennies to fractions of pennies, essentially. To the scary FTC fines of $42,300 some odd dollars, for not tagging your channel right or selecting the right checkbox for your video. And I think a lot of people are concerned, like I said, with no matter what you choose, for kids, not for kids, YouTube still holds the right to come behind you and deem otherwise. Whether it be through whatever algorithm they're running or whatever bot that they've got trying to detect. And I think a lot of people were concerned because, as you can see my background.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of us have these kind of backgrounds. It's our passion. We collect, exactly. And these backgrounds pretty much basically automatically peg your content. It appeals to children. Will that run a risk for some content creators for YouTube's algorithm to pick up and go, hey, despite you tagging it not for kids, you have stuff in your video that appeals to kids. So therefore it is for kids.
And that's something that I've tried to talk to people about, is that here's the thing. The one thing I always worry about with YouTube when it comes to things like this, where they're saying you are bound to do this a certain way, but our algorithm can change this at any time and tell us, hey, you are this, and we're going to switch it. Here's the problem. Like you said, they're collectibles. It's not like you're going to get on and play with these. You're not.
Yeah.
Even those people like Rookie Critic who do their movies and stuff where they play with, where they shoot scenes with in stop motion, that still isn't for kids. I've watched Thomas the Tank Engine videos that have bad words and things like that. It's not directed at kids, but it is something that kids can watch. But the thing here is that when we say no, it's not for kids, that should be the end of the discussion. It doesn't matter what we're doing with those things. Either it's in your background, you pick it up to say, well, this is a special edition, Captain Marvel, whatever, whatever. Just because you pick it up and put it on the screen does not mean you're sitting there showing it to kids. But at the same time, kids, like many things, will jump onto websites and videos that they shouldn't. Well, let's just take, for instance, the one I always use is Pornhub. Pornhub does not have a filter that says, oh, wait, you're a kid. Stop. Don't watch. But they're bound by Coppa. They're bound by these things. But the thing is they can say a kid isn't supposed to be here. So just because you are, just like on restricted videos on YouTube, you can say, hey, we're going to age restrict this. What's the first thing to happen? It says, sign in if you agree that you're over 18. It doesn't say, are you? It doesn't ask you the real questions. And any kid that's going to try to bypass that, all I have to do is go in and change the date that they're born. That's all they're required to do. So we, as content creators, cannot be held responsible for somebody circumventing the system.
Exactly. And that brings me to a comment I had read on a Variety article. And this comes from Nick B. And it says, regardless of what YouTube or the FTC says to scare everyone, content creators are not operators according to Coppa definition. So how could they be held liable for non-compliance? Because we as content creators do not collect or maintain user information, nor do we have access to the data YouTube extracts for marketing purposes. This information YouTube collects and maintains is for the benefit of itself and is not on the behalf of content creators. With or without them, the data would continue to be gathered. So while YouTube throws us content creators under the bus, they happily continue compiling user information. And we all know it's not as if kids under 13 will stop lying about their age to make online accounts and look at media not intended for them.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. Like, there has to be some kind of protection on the content creators for if something like that happens. What if that happens and then it's found out later that individual that got information gathered on them was under false pretenses because they lied to say they were 13 when they were not?
And that's where I fall back on this. I don't agree with government getting into our lives and telling us to do this or do that. But when it's already there, like this, in some ways, this protects us because YouTube, being an entity of themselves, Google, YouTube, however you want to say, can take certain liberties, such as the fact that they only gave us 2 options, for kids, not for kids, but they didn't give us a general audience tab. General audience is given to us by Coppa and by the FTC as saying, if you are intending your audience to be adults, but kids might watch it, then you are protected under that. The first thing here is we have to talk to the people who hold the law, not to YouTube. YouTube never gives us a very good platform to contact them on. The one that has surprised me the most, that doesn't totally work all the time, but it's a lot more user-friendly than it was at first, is the copyright dispute. When the first copyright problems were coming through and everybody was like, wait a minute, this is fair use, this is fair use, they finally gave us a platform that we could say, hey, this is fair use, this is why, so on and so forth. Now, yes, I mean, I know that you personally have had those issues, like all of us have, some more than others. Every so few videos I know what could be tagged as that. Yeah, I know what might be, but like I say so many times, listen, if I'm doing a reaction video, I'm talking over 90% of it. I'm not letting them just watch it flat out just so I get views. Exactly. I'm saying something. I have a beginning that's an intro without it. I have an ending with an exit without it. And in between, I'm talking. So this is fair use because I'm showing something, I'm reacting to it. But like so many things, they're letting the people who hold that copyright make the decision, not YouTube. So the problem is then you get into the thing of, do I want to dispute it again? And then it could go to court. If it goes to court and I lose, then I could have the whole thing taken down. They could take all the money for it, whatever. Or worst case scenario, YouTube could say, well, you're not following community guidelines. You're gone. Boom. Bye.
Yeah.
But they have given us a better way of doing it.
Now, like, I understand. Like, we're not even protected by fair use on a general spectrum like we were anymore.
Well, and that's the other thing. The fact that all of this comes down to is do you want to fight in the courts? And YouTube knows in the long run, most people won't. But here's the thing. With COPPA and FTC, we actually have a non-court option. And that's your senators, that's your Congress people. And you can write to these people and say, hey, they are not adhering to the law as it's stated. Because the one thing we can all point to is the general audience's answer. They haven't given us that. And you said that even YouTube has said, well, that's a little much for us. We can't do it. It's called they didn't do it. Now they realize they didn't do it. And they think they can get off by saying, well, that's a lot to do. The problem is what I think is going to happen is that YouTube's going to get hit again because they're not giving that option. Because that's the protection for a lot of us. Some of the stuff we talk about is going to be watched by people under 18. That's considered a child in the United States of America.
Yep.
And if we don't have the general audience tab, then we cannot be held accountable for that, even though we're protected by law saying that if you are that, you can still run this stuff. See, the ones I think are getting screwed the most out of this are the children's content creators.
Yes.
Because they've basically been told now you can't monetize, you don't get an end screen, you don't get you don't get all of these options to help you move your stuff forward. But what's funny is I almost guarantee you right now, Sesame Street, that has its own YouTube channel, all these other little, children's shows and stuff like that, I guarantee you will still have some way of monetizing.
Yeah, but I mean, they'll still be monetized. It's just that ad revenue will be slashed dramatically.
Exactly. And I don't know if that's fair. I understand. You see, here's the thing. I understand what we're trying to protect is kids not clicking on things or not getting their information out and like that. It's very simple. YouTube needs to come up with a much better option to filter out who is a child and who is not. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there is, because like I said, it's just my oldest daughter, she's 13. And we had her an account created for Gmail when she first got her phone a couple years ago. And I know at one point we got a notification from Gmail on one of our emails that we had attached to it for recovery, stating that it has come to our attention that, it appears this account is not an adult and such. I don't know, something like that. Because we didn't have it set as a kid's account because she's still like watching regular YouTube videos and stuff. And like I said, we got some kind of email stating that they auto detected she was not a child, or either that she was not an adult, that they were going to drop it back to rated, restricted to children. And I mean, it's like my son too, man. He watches YouTube. He watches Pink Fong with the Baby Shark, Blippi. I mean, you name it. A lot of YouTube-based children's content creators.
Absolutely.
And like watching, they don't generate revenue through their channel like we do. Like, through super chat means and stuff and streams. They just make content and produce it and then let ad revenue build up. They have merchandise and stuff on the sides. But I mean, when you're limiting the ad content, for those channels, those content creators it's not cheap, especially like Blippi. That guy's content is not cheap to produce. He doesn't sit at home and play with toys. I mean, the guy goes out and does all kinds of stuff throughout the town, goes to different, indoor play places and stuff. And, I'm sure that costs him money. So he's investing, but to not get that money back because basically YouTube goes, well, we can't effectively put ads on that and targeted at kids. And I'm sitting here like, well, if that's the case, why can't you run children's based ads like Lego, like Mattel, or like Hasbro, or get in with Disney or whoever and have like kids based targeting ads. I mean, TV has it, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, all day, every day. They run kid friendly advertisements for toys, stuff coming up. It's like, why can't YouTube do that? And then leave other sources of ad revenue for the adults, content creators and stuff that have adults visiting their channel. You know, and that's where it's like, it's so confusing because YouTube has YouTube Kids.
Yeah. Well, I think you're on the right track with the kid-based advertising, but the problem I know that they're saying is that from the click from YouTube to the transfer to the web page that it takes you to, what are we and this is where, and I understand this, what are we collecting from the child? Now, let's be honest. A child should go to their parent. Hey, dad, hey, mom, I want this. And the adult should take whatever the thing is, a computer, a tablet, a phone, and put their information in and buy it for them if that's what they want to do. But somehow kids are still able to put their information in, and they don't know what they're doing. Not all of them do. I mean, once they get to 13, 14, I honestly believe that's when we have to start teaching kids, you are responsible for what you do. And if you do something outside of the realm of what you're supposed to do, then there are some repercussions, whether or not it is that YouTube has to look at these kids who are 13 to 18, because that's where the real gray area is in this. The 13 to 18, where they do start working, they make their own money, they can make their own decisions. My son's 17, my oldest is. He has a job. He has a debit card. He has a bank account. He buys stuff off of the Xbox. Xbox Live and stuff like that. Here's the problem, though. It says in terms of service, if you're not 18, you're not supposed to be doing it. And the thing is he can, because he has the means to do it. So we have a problem here where we have to figure out what is the way to get it so kids can do what they want with these things, like the advertisement. You said Lego, do all those things. And how do we not get the information from the children? How do we make it so it goes automatically to them? One of those answers is Xbox has a kind of answer, is that if you set the kid's account up, it emails the parent and says, hey, I want this. Will you buy it for me? If YouTube did something like that, where we had at least the parents have to be responsible and they have to make sure it's a kid's account, at least on kid's account, if you said, hey, if it goes to this advertiser, then you have to automatically, as soon as it goes, before it goes to that web page, you have to get permission from your parent.
See,
this email. Well,
the thing I don't get about it all is, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the 90s and early 2000s.
Oh yeah.
What porn website could you access as a kid?
No.
Next to none.
No.
Because you had to have credit card verification or some means to prove actual 18 or older.
That tells everybody out there, we tried. Yes, we tried.
Yeah. But, and that's the thing where it's like, can we get some kind of age verification system by like some means to prove, I mean, it's one thing to create an account and stick in a birthday. I mean, a lot of websites like Steam, for crying out loud, you can go to Steam and it goes, oh, this content is rated such for mature viewers. All you have to do is plug in whatever random birthday before 1999. And
that's the thing. Any kid over 12 that's really doing that's going to know math.
Yeah.
I'm going to math this one.
Oh, and the way kids get around stuff today, I know because my oldest daughter, her and her friends have been fighting that for the past 7 to 8 months.
Yeah.
The way they get into things and how they bypass the system and fool the system. It's like where there's a will, there's a way, but at least have a system put in where I don't even know how I guess they could do it with like credit card verification or like, because Google Play does it sometimes where like if you order a subscription for a free trial, they ding you for 99 cents and then send it right back, to verify the card works, whatever card you're putting on file. And I mean, I guess kids could go out and buy prepaid cards, but
well, there's a way around that too.
It's just YouTube seems to just threw their hands in the air, and it's like we got caught. We did our time. We're paying our fine. The rest is on y'all. Yeah, that's why the video specifically states contact a lawyer. Go get legal help if you need, or if you need to clarify, or you got questions you want answered. Get a lawyer. And I'm like, wow.
Well, I don't know about you. I have a lawyer on retainer. I own a business. I have to, but I've talked to them, and they said, listen. They're not abiding by the law. They didn't give you this general audience tab. End of story is, if your content is meant for adults and a child walks in on it, it's general audience. and you are protected by the law. Now, YouTube may say, oh, no, but YouTube cannot go against the letter of the law. So YouTube is risking a lot here. And the problem is, and I like your verification idea. I am surprised that nobody has said, hey, I have a multi-million-dollar idea. How about this? I'm going to verify everybody you have on there. And I don't know how they can do it or what. But, you know, you know, I seem to remember YouTube at one time did have some sort of a credit card verification system. I think if you're a content creator, automatically it should have some way. Now, if you sign up before you're monetized, I'm not monetized, but everything that I need to be monetized up until actually getting it is done. I have AdSense. I've put in all that information. I have where it's going to go, all of that stuff. But content creators automatically should be asked for that information. Now, it won't be used. It's more of a, here's how we're going to pay you type thing. But it would definitely say before you go forward, if you say you're over 18, you need to give us credit card information. That's seriously going to diminish how many children are going in there. You'll get the really bad kids that go into mom and dad's wallet and do it. But you got to be smart enough. That's normally around 12 plus. So you're going to be able to get past that. Then the creeping backwards part is that kids over or just under 18 can get a job, so they could have it. But you're going to really filter out about 80% of those people you don't want getting that stuff. And I think a filtering system would be a great idea, but it still doesn't answer the question of, as a content creator, what do we do until then? Because let's be honest, YouTube is scaring people into making a decision one way or another. And I don't remember the exact date we were supposed to have it. I think it was last week sometime we were supposed to make the decision, but I can't remember. But when they force you to make that decision, the ones that are really going to have the hard time are the people right there in the middle. Well, I kind of have stuff for adults. I kind of have stuff for kids. And those people are like, I didn't question it. I was like, I'm for adult. I'm adults. That's it.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here thinking, like, what about reaction channels that do reactions to like Frozen? Exactly. Or like Maleficent, or you know, any Disney movie that's like Mulan coming up. I mean, that's automatically for kids because it's a kids movie. It's PG-13.
It is, but
it's
you know, that doesn't give me it doesn't mean it's just for that. There are plenty of people out there who are adults who are going to watch Maleficent 2 and Frozen 2. Even if it isn't with kids, there's plenty of adults who are into the Disney movies and the more kid-oriented movies. But you know, it does bring up that thing. So I said it across the board. I'm not going to go individual video to individual video. I know they gave us that option, but if you think about it, that's a daunting task in and of itself. When you have over 100 videos, you know, I got over 100 videos. A lot of them are pushed into, you know, playlists here and there. My live streams, there's only like one or two that are ever public. The rest are in a playlist somewhere. But you think about the mass quantity that some of these channels, let's go with Neurotic, you know, John Talks, Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers. These people have mass amounts of videos that they would have to go back and change. And it's kind of like me when I'm going back and I'm like, well, I have to add an end screen to this. I have to add my cards to this. I have to add tags to this one. I'm doing that right now, and it's crazy. So I'd like to go backwards and do that per individual video.
Somehow or another, by the grace of whatever hindsight or foresight or whatever you want to call it, right before this all started coming out, I had actually privated all my videos because I was going to work on creating a new archive playlist for old videos, putting them in and going back because I'm still getting copyright claims and blocks left and right. You know, it's just taking weeks to catch up. And it's like, oh, I was ahead of the curve. So, but no, like you're saying, it's like I was trying to explain to Wished Upon a Vlog and stuff. It's like there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can do it in mass by like 30 at a time, by going to the tick box and then clicking, you know, for kids. And it's like, yeah, I mean, there's channels that have thousands of videos that they would have to go back and re-edit, retick check boxes. And then here lies the problem. Same problem I faced when I took my channel and applied for monetization. I had to delete a bunch of videos. Well, as you're creating videos and uploading them, you're creating end screens and cards. This video links to this video, which links to this video. There's a trail. Once you start deleting videos, that trail is broken.
Yeah.
So now you have videos that are getting flagged or marked as for kids. Bye end screens. Therefore, you're going to end up with a broken trail of content as far as like somebody watching a video and then getting that, and there's no more end screen. So there's no more promotion for your next video. Your cards are being taken away. No more 3 minutes in, this person's getting the idea to watch your next video. And that's where it's like, for large channels with large amounts of content to have all these systems in place, it's going to end up fracturing that system they have.
And that's what, I mean, and this is the way I handled it. Like I said, I did it on a channel-wide basis. I just said everything's for adults. As soon as my lawyer told me, he said, listen, they're not allowing for the general audience ability. You market for adults because you're not targeting kids. If YouTube tries to say you are marketing to kids, then you have a legal right to say no. And anything they do from then on, anything that they force you to do on your channel, because here's the honest truth, while you're waiting to either go to court or whatever, you have to play their game. So you might have to reel it back.
Yeah.
But anything they do, like anything else in legal works, they'll have to answer for at the end if you're right. And if they're not offering the tab that protects you by law, then that's on YouTube. And what I really believe is these larger channels will have more clout to go back and say, wait a minute, this is not for kids. You did not give me an option to go and say that it's a general audience thing. Because let's be honest, there's a guy, Zach Cox, who does a lot of like GTA 5 stuff, and he plays GTA 5 a lot. Well, I know 12-year-olds that play GTA 5. That doesn't change the fact that on the box it says MA. It's mature audiences only. That doesn't stop kids from playing it. So just because YouTube says, well, wait a minute, we're noticing a lot of children or whatever, or we noticed this and that's a child's video. Well, no. Just because I play Luigi Mansion doesn't mean I'm going for kids. Just because I play Mario Kart doesn't mean I'm going for kids. Yeah, the kids watch it? Sure. But so YouTube is actually creating more of a problem for themselves down the line. So what they're doing is they think they fixed the problem. They paid the fine. But what they're doing is they're starting at zero and they're going to amass another fine. Is what I really believe is going to happen. I personally am not worrying about this. I'm not letting it keep me up at night. I'm up at night all the time anyways. That's besides the point. But I'm not letting this sit in my head. And I attribute this to the Hangouts disappearance. When Hangouts went away and said, hey, we're not doing the live streaming anymore, a lot of us cried to the community saying, wait a minute, YouTube, you should have offered us something. And YouTube only came out with, well, you can go use YouTube webcam or whatever it was. Well, that's for one person. That's not for groups. That's not for like two people. It's for one. So we all started trying to find a way. And then somebody stumbled on StreamYard. And StreamYard, that's what I'm saying. Where is this person, this group saying, we have the answer? I think somebody's going to be out there saying, wait a minute, I see a need. I'm going to do this. And they're going to find a way. They'll make some product that YouTube or Google, for lack of a better word, Google will be like, we'll buy you out. What do you want? And they're going to implement it in all this. Because this isn't just a YouTube thing. This is anybody that has a website. Because while YouTube got hit, that's Google. Google is going to implement this now, probably through AdSense, to web pages, to blog sites that are attached to Google's AdSense. And this isn't just a YouTube thing. YouTube is going to be the most vocal because it's media now, not as you go. That's what I honestly believe, is that Google is creating a headache for themselves.
See, it's like I just posted a link in the chat to FTC's blog updated as far back as November 22nd. Basically kind of giving a little more clarity, because I was actually reading up on YouTube support as far as determining if your content is made for kids. And like it says, according to the FTC's guidance on Coppa, a video is child directed or made for kids if children are the primary audience. Children are not the primary audience, but the video is still directed to children based on some factors below. And those factors are subject matter of the video, whether children are intended or actual audience, whether the video includes child actors or models, whether the video includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, including animated characters or cartoon figures, whether the language of the video is intended for children to understand, whether the video includes activities that appeal to children, such as play acting, simple songs or games, or early education, whether the video includes songs, stories, or poems for children, or any other information you might have to help determine your video's audience, like empirical evidence of the video's audience. And that's basically confirmed on the update Coppa put out. The rules set out additional factors that the FCC will consider determining whether your content is child directed.
But the coup de grace on that is the general audience, which without that option, YouTube's kind of put themselves into a bad loophole. At least I believe. But yeah, I mean, it is something that you have to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you got to cuss every 5 minutes then from now on, just to make sure.
But the interesting thing about that is, I would have to advise dropping 2 or 3 F-bombs, because, I mean, certain cuss words can still be considered in PG and PG-13 movies.
Yeah, I know.
That's the catch-22 there, because it's like,
nowadays you're right. Hey, it said Trap said that he didn't see the link. It may not have gone through. If you want to send it to me in the private chat, I'll put it, just to make sure that it gets in there.
There we go.
Let's see here. We'll get this up for you guys here really quick. And there you guys go. Hopefully it'll come up really quick here. There you go.
Hail Thomas.
Yes, Thomas.
Thomas the Tank.
Thank you very much for being up there. One of my mods tonight. We have another one in here in just a little bit, maybe.
Let me see here. And I do believe there's updates like in progress as far as like reevaluating the rule in light of rapid changes in technology. If you'd like to comment, the comments are open until December 9th, 2019. So I guess you can plead your case or like suggestion or whatever. But I know, like I was told as of January, it's like let me see, because it's every 10 years it's reevaluated. So 99, 2019, or no, 2009, 2019. I'm pretty sure there are some changes because they have to broaden their horizon as far as protection. And the thing that I don't get is, thank you. Where'd it go here? And it's just stated both by FTC and YouTube, regardless of your location, we require you to tell us whether or not your videos are made for kids. So that means wherever you're uploading from around the world, your shit is still being, judged. It's like, so if that's the case, how is it we're no longer protected by the Fair Use Act when it comes to content uploaded from outside the United States?
Well, that's where, like I said, the question is how far do you want to put it? Because the way that YouTube has the fair use set up now is you could say it's fair use, but then it goes to the content copyright owner. So, there's all these secondary, record companies that have bought out, a song or something like that. And it says it's a blank media or whatever. And it goes to them first, because this is how YouTube has decided to handle copyright. They're like, we're getting too much inundation of people saying copyright, fair use, blah, 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 blah. We don't have the personnel. What first answer is they don't want to have the personnel. They could do it. All it takes is, okay, listen, I think I heard the other day, there's 2 billion hours watched daily, I think, on YouTube. I heard this the other day. I can't remember if it was 2 billion, 2 million, but I think it was 2 billion hours watched daily on YouTube. across the globe. If that's true, then you can understand how many people it might take to look at every copyright claim. But it's really simple. You look at it, are they just letting something run, or are they actually talking over it? First off. But they don't want to do that, so they send it over to the creator or the copyright owner, and the copyright owner says, nope, I don't care. I'm not even going to look at this. A lot of them are going to do that. They're just saying, I'm not even going to look at this. No, it's still copyright protected. Boom. They can't monetize it, or will share monetization, whatever the many different facets they could say are. Well, then you have a choice as a content creator. You can take it to court, and that's exactly what it'll tell you when you get a dispute denial. It'll say, you can try again, but this time it goes above them and it goes to court. Now what you have to do is you have to get that lawyer. You have to go to the courtroom, or you have to have the lawyer go to the courtroom. Well, most of these courts are going to be handled wherever the copyright owner is. Now, in the United States, it has to be handled in the United States, but that means it would be Washington, D.C. Well, that means, are you going to hire a lawyer out in Washington, D.C.? And are you going to trust them to go and expressly give a valid reason for you while you're not there in your absence? Are you going to allow them and believe that they're going to go in and fight for what you want to do? And for that, as you have already said, pennies on the dollar.
Yep.
So what are most of us doing? We're like, oh, screw it. I'm done. I did the one dispute. They denied it, whatever. FTC and Coppa is a little different. Like I said, you can push with your elected officials and explain that. And you can highlight directly. Going through YouTube in this is going to be pointless because YouTube, as you said, have done this. I'm done. Which is not the way they should do this, because they're still held by these rules. They're still responsible first. You think Coppa and you think the FTC is going to go through every content creator stuff and send out fines? No, they're going to say, YouTube, that's your job. And again, I think this is something we're going to see in 5 years. See, the first time that YouTube gets dinged for anything on this, they're going to do what they did this last time. I think this court case has been in the courts for 5+ years, and they'll just appeal. And they'll appeal. They keep on trying to get out of it until there's nowhere else they can go. And then they're going to come back and say, all right, new rules. And by that time, FTC and Coppa is going to have some different changes in it, because like you said, it's a ever-growing, constant change, because we're talking the World Wide Web, the internet, and that's never ending, and it gets bigger and bigger, and more people get to it every day. Is this something, though, that as content creators we need to be worried about right now? Have we seen anything that changes how we do things right now?
See, that's a hard one to tell, because, like I said, I mean, some people are uploading certain things that are stating there's changes being made now. Like there was the collectibles channel, I think that, and then there was like an art channel where somebody had uploaded videos about like, oh, this is what's happening now. Like, I've already noticed chats being disabled, and or stuff like that. Probably right now it's slower than what we're going to expect come first of the year. See, and the thing too is, what we know as an adult or as a child in the United States is like 13. It's time to do research and find out other countries that view your stuff. Like somebody was posted on Twitter earlier, they've noticed that their number one demographic was Brazil. Find out what Brazil considers a child, what age. Like, I think Europe considers anybody under the age of 18 a child, so it's like, that's where I think content creators are going to have to start getting more educated on audience, demographic, and how to gear themselves and future content towards those demographics. Because like it says, it doesn't matter where you are, your content's being uploaded, some parent in Europe or somebody could get a bug up their ass and, contact the FCC because, their 17-year-old was watching your video. And that's where I think YouTube needs to put a system in place that can identify. They know what country you're logging in from.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because not most content creators are going to go to those links to like define by country or continent what age a child is declared, you know, and gear their content towards that like accordingly. So I mean, it's like, I guess I would have to just start clicking not intended for children at all, you know, because it's too broad of a spectrum. Like, I mean, 13 to 18 is a huge gap between America and Europe.
Yeah. I think that you're absolutely right. We have to, as content creators, be more direct about who we are making things for. I'm not really sure how that goes for certain people. I mean, here's the thing. I've kind of looked at it on certain things I do. I have a BitChute. And BitChute, while at the moment it's not like YouTube, it eventually, if it gets traction, will get there. It eventually will. But for right now, these things that could be considered, I would throw them over there. You can get crowdsourcing, crowdfunding for it. You know, people can donate to you on there. You can put your, you know, Streamlabs links on there. If you have a Streamlabs account that allows you to take money, or your PayPal, whatever, you can put that all in there and you can make that. It's a little harder. It's a little more work. And to basically build a second channel, it's a lot. But if it's not your primary focus, if you're not sure, my thought process is move it over there. Like a lot of the stuff that I've noticed that gets these copyright claims and stuff, a lot of them I've started saying, okay, no, or like I had one completely blocked and I fought it. It was my 1984 For the Love of Vinyl video. And finally, one day somebody looked at it and said, well, wait a minute. They don't even play any Van Halen in it. They're just showing quick 10-second clips of videos. They're talking the whole time. There's nothing copyright about this. They dropped it finally. I got to put it up. But I have another that's a Steve Perry reaction to Oh Sherry, I think it is. And I couldn't get that one through to save my life. So I said, screw it. I'm not going to fight this. I'm going to move it over to BitChute. That's where it's at. And I'm wondering if maybe some combination of a couple sites is how we have to go to it now. And that's a little more work for us as content creators, but does it save us? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
It's a possibility that could save us. Now, I don't know if you have BitChute, or I
started one, but I kind of went on hiatus because I was told that come January 2020, even websites like BitChute aren't going to be safe from the FTC and Coppa, which I don't understand because they're not AdSense. They're not generating videos. It's
all crowdfunding.
Yeah.
It's, hey, we like your stuff. Here's some money. That's all based off of. And that actually is very protected because then you do have to have that, a bank account, credit card.
And see, I've had a lot of people tell me that's not possible because it's not United States based. But again, you read YouTube, it doesn't matter where you are in the world.
It's like our videos in the article. What was it that they passed a few months back over in Europe?
13.
Yeah, I think it was Article 13. It is like that. For us, that means nothing because that's over there. But our videos, this video right now, if it goes across the pond to England or to France, Germany, any one of those countries over there in the EU, then the EU says, well, it's an import, but we get to say, is this abide by Article 13? You and I will never know, and we'll never have to answer for if it isn't. But they over there have to. They may never see this. This could be blocked over there. We're not going to be told. The only time we're told if it's blocked is if it's a copyright claim or copyright ding or whatever. You're told, oh, nope, this is going to be blocked in these countries. But as far as Article 13 is concerned, we will never know because we aren't held by Article 13. So it could very much be that type of thing where we could protect ourselves here in the United States. But like you said, if you're getting all your views from Brazil, you better know everything from there because you have to get your content creator. Yeah, like for instance, you did a lot of Bollywood stuff for a while there, and
70% of my traffic was India and Indonesia, and
that's a very good demographic to get it from. But what are the laws over there? What do you have to fight? What do you have to get? That's a crazy thing. So then you got to go through their articles and their stuff and say, okay, well, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. And then you have to match it up with the United States law. Does it break to abide by their stuff?
See, just like I looked it up now, 18. 18 is the age that anything 18 under is considered a child. And it's like, because apparently they just updated their child labor laws.
Yep.
Defines a child's age as 18 years. So,
and I mean, you're absolutely right. This is the problem we all have in general, is that how far as content creators are we to be held responsible to find out these laws?
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, and this is what I've never understood. YouTube should have a very different stance on a lot of this. They should be more open and say, listen, you guys, because be honest, you're monetized. I'm not monetized. Mm-hmm. You're monetized, but you're monetized. Mary Mayhem's monetized. Jeremy's monetized. All these people are monetized. From 1,000 to, I'd say, 15,000 subs, you're pennies to the dollar, like you said. And it's not going to be seen like, you're not going to get a bankroll. You're not going to quit your job. You're not going to raise your family. You got 4 kids, right?
Yep.
You're not independently wealthy off of this, are you?
No. And that's like I told Mad Squirrel on that one-on-one. When it comes to being a content creator, even if you are monetized, Jeremy had it right. Merch.
Yep.
Donations. PayPal. Super chats. That's where your money comes from. And like I explained about Mary Mayhem, if you're looking to get monetized, create something unique. Like Mary Mayhem has her shenanigans and her karaoke streams and all that. You know, she generates profit from that, from super chats and those kind of AdSense, to where just don't create videos and expect to get rich off AdSense views, because out of 100,000 views, only 10,000 of them might actually be monetized views, and you're only going to make freaking 40 cents.
Yeah. But where does it, for everybody who doesn't know this, because like I said, I have AdSense, I have a website, and I see AdSense from that. I don't see anything from this yet. Anything I get is from Streamlabs donations, PayPal donations. That's what I get. But that money goes to Google. That 98% goes to Google.
Yep.
Why is YouTube being so stingy with helping us? Because in the long run, what I don't understand is YouTube makes more money off of this than anybody. Think about it. 100,000 subs. I've heard a few people who are living off of that. If it's them themselves. 100,000 subs, they live off of it. How much money then is YouTube and Google pulling from that? And yet,
look at the chunk they take from
fodder to the shark, saying, "Oh, our hands are washed." Well, what is that going to do to YouTube if all of us end up getting washed up into this? It's going to screw them over. So there's the problem.
They're losing ad revenue.
Exactly. I don't understand why YouTube hasn't said we need to circle the wagons. We need to get with content creators on a one-on-one basis, or have things like what we're doing right now. Live streams where you guys are invited and only you guys are invited. And we're going to have town hall meetings. We're going to talk and help you do this, because if you don't succeed, if you don't make it, we're out too. And there's the real big question. What is YouTube gaining by throwing us to sharks? What are they doing? Where does this help them? I don't think it does. That's why
it doesn't.
Got to be something else that we're not hearing about or we're not seeing, which always makes me kind of relax a little bit on it. It makes me say, well, there's something else there. We're not being told something. What do you think about that? Do you think that we're hearing only the sirens going off and the YouTube's throwing us to the sharks and all of this, but YouTube's sitting back and like, I don't understand why they're all freaking out. This is nothing. We're just telling you to do this and everything will be fine. Which is it?
See, the thing is like, for small channels like mine, I'm just chump change. I'm just a drop in a huge ocean.
That's
content creators that's generating money. You know, and it's like you were saying, they take 98% of the profits from ads. They're taking 30 to 35% right off the top for super chats. So for every $10, you're only getting 7. YouTube's making 3 right off the rip. You know, they're making big money that way. And I honestly think they're making more money coming in off of super chats on a regular daily basis than they actually are ad revenue.
Oh, for
on the millions of small channels as opposed to the million, not even 500,000 large channels.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and I've heard it like Tyrone Magnus, he's got a few million subscribers. He's talked about, you know, the money that he makes. SC Reviews has come out and talked about the money he makes. You know, per, you know, how many views. And it's like, it's not really as much as you think, you know, but you take 1,600 off, I don't know, 1 million and some views, add 90% back to that. And that's what YouTube's taking. So you're looking at what? Another $6,000 YouTube just made in ad revenue off your channel. You know, and that's where it's like you said, YouTube really seems to be shooting itself in the foot, or what they would say, cutting off the nose to spite the face.
Yeah. I just saw this here that Trap put up, and it's a very good point. YouTube is probably going the way of Netflix, and I kind of wonder about that. If they went and did that, you know, but you gotta wonder. Yeah, all the little channels aren't a concern, but how quickly does that become a problem? Because I'd say there's more small channels that are monetized, that they get money from. And like you said, super chats. That's small channels rely on, because that's where you get your bigger bang for your buck. Super chats, your merchandising, all of that. You've made it. And that's the thing. I have a merch place too. Teespring, that's where we go to make money, because we can't make money off of this. I can't make anything off of this yet. Everything I make is just donation, and you know, it's how it is. But
like, I've been mulling over the possibility the past week or so just to demonetize and be done with it. I can't get upset about ad revenue I'm not getting if I'm not getting any. You know? Like, it's because it almost makes more sense, because I don't have to worry about YouTube limiting ads if I don't have any ads to begin with. And maybe just rebuilding the brand and going towards like Teespring and stuff, like you said, you know.
But then I mean, I guess you have the right to not monetize once you hit 1,000 subs.
Oh yeah, you can. I just remember the time that Star Wars girl accidentally, I think, demonetized herself. There's a way you can do it. You can remove yourself from the partner program.
That might be something. I know a couple people. I won't mention their names on here because I don't want people going, well, why didn't they? Or what? I don't want to inundate anybody with questions, or have anybody have questions like, why didn't you do it? Or why aren't you doing it? But I know about 3 different people right now who are well above 1,000 subs, well above the watch time, and they're not monetized. And I've talked to one of them and know for a fact they said, I just don't want to be held so closely to you have to follow these rules.
Yep.
And it's an interesting thing to be said. Now, I'm not, like I said, I just hit 504, I think, today, which I'm fucking.
And congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you. I'm amazed. I mean,
yeah,
I talk too much as it is. So. But when I get to 1,000 now, I'm wondering, well, do I want to do it right then? Or do I want to wait until that bang for the buck is more to me at 5, at 10? Which, if I ever get there, I'm not saying I will, but
it's $1 million question.
Yeah, you gotta wonder, is it better to wait until you have some clout? Because let's be honest, once you get into the hundreds of thousands, you're starting to get clout. Once you get your first plaque, when you get that plaque, whatever, I think it's 10,000 is the first one, isn't it?
100,000.
100,000. Okay, so tell you right there. That's where they really consider you something. That's when they say, hey, look, we're going to give you this, and good job. Pat back. Thank you for making us all that money. But if you waited, if there's a really good way to wait, keep your PayPal open. Say, hey, guys, let's not send money to them. Send money to me. Help me out. And you'll see it. You'll see the benefits reaped in the videos I do. You'll see this. You'll see that. But I am not a part of their partner program. I abide by the rules, but I don't hold myself to their I don't want to be monetized because that gives me more freedom. There is something to be said about that, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. It's like far as like creative freedom. Like when I chose to get monetized, I had to make a huge sacrifice to make it happen. And like I said, I hurt myself longer in the long run than I did in the short run by having to delete so much content to get it done. I kind of painted myself into a corner because now, like I said, copyright strikes and claims mean a lot more being monetized because there's something to lose. And as far as like what kind of content, because if you're not monetized, you can just, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to claim my video. You're going to block it. Okay. Make some money off of it. And like, because I was doing a lot of reactions and I really wasn't intending to become a reaction channel, but I started getting concerned with stuff like strikes, like from Whacked Out Media, who runs T-Series and all those, and it started because once they start building it, and it's almost like you put a target on your back when you get monetized with certain content because you're then attempting to make money off that product, that video, or whatever it is you're doing. So I think a company would be more inclined to not just claim your video, but strike your channel, with willful intent to monetize on copyrighted content.
I think that a real thing here, like you said, the not monetizing when you can and trying to build as much of your channel up from not being monetized. Because listen, if you start getting those subs don't care necessarily that you're monetized. They're there for the content. The monetization and stuff is whatever. If you want super chats with, and this, when you're running OBS or you're running Streamlabs OBS, you can mark it to ding and say, hey, look, I got a super chat or whatever, a notification. And when you do that, that's the same thing. But what you can do is you can say, listen, I'm standing against YouTube because I want to make the money and I want to keep the money here. And if enough people do that before they monetize, then YouTube's going to start wondering, well, what's going on here? Why are we losing all this extra money? Because I guarantee you, like I said, there are more smaller monetized channels than there are big monetized channels. I honestly believe that. And I don't have facts to back that up yet. I can look it up. But if enough smaller channels stop monetizing but still make content and grow without monetizing, they're going to show YouTube, hey, I don't have to do it your way. I can do it another way. And yeah, for a lot of us, that doesn't mean that, the dream of not having to go to work every day or something like that, because I love doing this. I know you love doing this. We love doing this. That's not a job. If we can work at home and do this, and it's not a job, it's great. I mean, that's what we all want to do, but it's that thing of, if we do that, it's like a protest to them saying we are going to find a way. I mean, maybe that's the way to go. I mean,
yeah, I remember when Odin did that. He disabled super chats and urged people to use PayPal. That way, screw the man. That way they can't get their cut for nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
still doing that.
I'm not sure.
Trap, you're the one that put that in there. Do you know if he's still doing that? Because I haven't noticed. And truth be told, I can't imagine having as many subs as he has and thinking about how many super chats you could have. Because I know a lot of people who do super chats. That's the comments they read. Well, once you get over 100,000 or more, I mean, it's like, how many super chats do you get? You can get a ton of super chats. I mean, are you going to read every one of them? No. And at some point, you're going to have to stop doing that. I think a donation to the content creator is just saying, hey, dude, like what you're doing. Congrats, whatever.
Well, see, it creates problems like John Campea caused. Because he ended up getting so many, he had to hire somebody to read them. And then even then, they still couldn't keep up. And then people got mad because they got ignored. And why are we paying to ask questions if you're not answering them? And it just kind of created a whole new storm over that business.
And that's yeah, and I can't imagine that.
And that's
John Campea is whatever. He's You know, John Campia is the waffler of waffles. He likes to flip flop and whatever. And I can't imagine, but that he got there somehow. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Get there, and then it is a question because after a while, I mean, from 1,000 to 100,000, I'm not really positive that you could absolutely, without a doubt, hire anybody to do it.
Yeah.
I got Sean Stackhouse who does stuff with me every once in a while. Well, I can't imagine that him and I could do it after a certain point, even the two of us.
Yeah.
It's like, and that, it does say, is it worth the fight until you're, I mean, if you got up to 200,000 subs, I guess then I'd start saying, or 100,000 when you could get your plaque, I'd say, okay, then monetize, because then you have a lot more freedom to work with. You can say, okay, I'll do it this way. I mean, I don't even know what okay.
See, and like with PayPal donations and stuff, you can still attach a question. You can send a note with the whatever it is,
and that's fine. And that's how I would say to do it. You have to have that open. That's fine. Whatever, and I need to start doing it that way. I'd love to start getting donations. Just hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But with that said, I mean, we basically talked about this. The fact of the matter of all of this, let's be honest, is 100%. We don't have all the information, and as content creators, that's horrible for us because we look at the FTC and the Coppa rules, and we say, "Well, this protects me," but YouTube is saying they can do whatever they want with it. So we are in the dark when it comes to what YouTube wants to do. And it makes for a really hard time to figure out what to do. And I mean, that's a simple fact of it.
Well, we need basic clarification. Like,
exactly. That's why
they're being too obscure with it. Even that video YouTube release, it's still very obscure because when they go into getting into details, it's consult your lawyer, contact a lawyer, get a lawyer, ask a lawyer. It's like they don't want to provide that clarity. It's do your own research. But then again, doing your own research is a whole nother headache because you have to sift through so much crap just to get to that one point.
That 300 pages of pork bellies, the things that nobody ever reads because that's how things are. The place where it says you can kill a baby and everybody makes $1 million, weird stuff like that they put in the laws and the rules of federal paperwork are crazy. This is where the congressmen and women make their money, because it could say that this big corporation gets a big payout because, well, they can, and nobody reads all that fine print, and that's the hardest part. But YouTube, like I said, should be doing something to help people out. They need to make sure that people know, because it benefits them to know. It benefits them to know that that way, if they come back on, you can say, listen, we gave you all the information. If they wash their hands of us after they gave us all the information, that's one thing. Right now, it looks black and white because they say it's this option or this option. But it's so muddy. It's not funny.
And that's the thing where it's like, I don't really think there's been one person that's put out a YouTube video that's really nailed the clarification on. It's usually just something they pull out and give their specific thoughts on that particular thing they've seen. No one's actually really broke it down in an entirety for the people to, like, I've tried to make heads or tails of it. I go back to it every couple of days and continue to read. And it's just like, dude, it's more, the deeper you get, the bigger the headache becomes. Cause it's like, there's a lot of stuff that contradicts itself.
Yep.
And it's like,
so let's do final comments. Any final thoughts on it? What do you think?
I wish YouTube would, like you said, YouTube would kind of be there for us in a sense that, they take the ownership for it and not pawn it off on us. It's like that one person in that comment said, they're the ones that were collecting the information. They're the ones that are benefiting from that information, not us. And then I get that we're using their platform willingly in agreement to a terms of service, but being your bread and butter earners, you know, throw us a bigger bone here, you know, because it's like you said, we are what makes them their money.
Yeah.
You know, our channels are the ones generating that ad revenue for them to just bank on every day. And the super chats, they don't do anything but sit back and collect and pay meager paychecks to people to maintain servers and stuff. It's so, I mean, I just, and I wish the FTC would come out and be a little more open. You know,
I think everybody needs to be more open on this for us, but they obviously don't want to. They're like, well, it's not our problem. You have to deal with it. Honestly, I think YouTube needs to start thinking about some sort of part of the partnership program where lawyers are a part of it, where there can be a team. And if you're monitoring, you can say, hey, I need to fight this. And this lawyer team could say, okay, well, I have 15,000 other YouTube creators who are wanting to fight the same video. Your percentage of the cost of our lawyer team is this. Do you want to do that? That would be a much better thing. To have some sort of a law team with YouTube for the content creators, not just YouTube, but more for the content creators, because a lot of this fair use stuff is just being looked over by the people who own the copyright, because they're the ones getting the decision. But in the same sense, for these things like Coppa and FTC, if you had that law group, that group of lawyers, as a content creator, you might get that note saying you want to fight this. There's 15,000 other content creators who are on the same thing that you are on. This group will do it for $10 each person. Now, yes, that means the lawyers are getting paid an exorbitant amount, but that's what lawyers do. But the thing is by spreading it out, because you know it's not going to be one content creator that has the problem. You aren't the first person to have that copyright claim done on that video. There are thousands of content creators who are doing a reaction to that video, or who are fighting the Coppa rule because, hey, yeah, I got the collectibles behind me, but I'm not for kids. There's thousands, not one. There are thousands, and YouTube has a simple answer right there. Okay, fine. We've got you lawyers. We've got our own lawyers. How about this? We give you access to it. The only thing is you have to pay for it. But like a class action lawsuit, you group everybody together, and when the class action lawsuit wins and the $15 million rolls in, the 500,000 people only get $10 a piece or whatever. You know, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Like, I'm looking at it like this. All this is how I express myself. It's how all of us express ourselves for our geek flags flying. And it's almost like you want to hold us to a standard because of it. You're basically giving us the impression that if we have that, we're going to suffer a penalty. Aren't you encroaching and stepping on our freedom of expression?
And
like that's how we,
a lot of legal things coming up on this. And I think Trap puts it very succinctly. 2020 is going to be an interesting year for YouTube.
Yep, it is. This time next year, YouTube is going to be a completely different cat of a completely different color.
It could be.
It's, you know, you're going to have a lot of people that jump ship and go to BitChute. BitChute's going to grow.
And that's the thing. Then BitChute's going to fall in the same thing. They're going to run into the same problems.
Well, if BitChute would avoid getting involved with like AdSense revenue and that for their they should be fine. Just stay crowdsourced. Let your people work off PayPal, Bitcoin, any kind of cryptocurrency or whatever it is that they're getting.
Does YouTube switch to that?
No.
If enough people jump, do they switch? Do they say, fine, AdSense no longer has anything to do with YouTube? Do they switch? Because how many people do they lose before they start saying, oh, we got to find something?
I mean, if YouTube was smart, they would ditch AdSense. Keep taking your cut out of super chats, but ditch AdSense, because AdSense is what got you in trouble. Collecting information for, you know, marketing and advertising on these kids, you know, and that's where another website would benefit. It's just like look at StreamYards. YouTube got rid of Google Hangouts. StreamYards cropped up. And now everybody's flocking to StreamYards, and now StreamYards, oh, well, you get 20 hours free a month, but everything else than that, pay a premium. They're going to make their money. They're taking advantage of the situation. If BitChute was smart, they could say they would stay crowdsourced, leave the whole AdSense business alone and just let your creators create content.
And I kind of wonder if that's not where this is going to go. That's why Don and I both have mirrored our channels over on BitChute. What you find here, you'll find there.
Yeah.
That way I make it easy on myself. Fine. YouTube's going to cause me a headache. Go over there.
And I mean, I'm sure they could find a way to come up with like a percentage.
Oh yeah.
Like I would, like the PayPal payment goes through BitChute first. They take 5% and then the rest goes to your PayPal
or something like that.
Same way PayPal collects off of automatic transferring to your bank account. They get their little 4%.
Yep.
You know,
I think that's the best advice right there right now. We don't know where this is going. We don't know if it's really going to change a lot. We have no clue. So best thing to do is make your backups now, plan your strategies, exit strategies, everything. Just plan ahead.
Have a contingency.
Whatever could happen, because we could be where we were several months ago when Hangouts went away. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Here we are.
Yeah.
Later, we've got StreamYards. Nothing changed really. It's a little different. You might have to pay for it, but overall, there's not a ton that has changed. So perhaps, and maybe I'm looking on the bright side of life on this one, perhaps in a year, we're all sitting here going like, I guess it wasn't as big of a deal as we thought.
Yeah.
But don't always count on that bright side of life thing. Do prepare. So I it's a good thing. Prepare and get that out there. One last time, Mike, go ahead and tell everybody where you can be found, what you're doing, all of that good stuff.
YouTube.com/CrackSkullMedia. Or just go YouTube search Crack Skull Media. Twitter @CrackSkullMedia. No ED, just Crack Skull Media. Like I said, slowly getting back into it. Hopefully focusing more on movie reviews and gaming coming up. Just trying to find a time. Any of the holidays and stuff have been thick and work's picked up, so haven't really had a chance to fully dive in back into getting it. But yeah, you can find me there. I'm gonna have some content up, some gaming stuff. Other than that, show your love to Chris here, man. The Real Review 3000. He deserves it. He deserves it more than I do.
Oh, come on.
You put in the hustle. You put in the grind, man. I mean, you've been doing a lot more than I have. So show the guys some love. I see you got up to like 505.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I've been doing 5 videos a week now for quite a while, and I'm releasing one a day. Then the Friday.
Hey, you've been climbing, man. 131 in the last 30 days. That's good, man. That's great.
So, with that said, we're going to do this thing. This is how you got picked. This is how everybody on the Gospel According to Chris gets picked. It is the Wheel of Names. I had to do that, stupid stuff. So here we go. We're going to spin this round and round and round. It goes where it stops. Only it knows. And the Wheel of Names will pick the next week's wonderful guest.
Ruthie.
Nope.
Sean.
I'm going to have to force Sean on the channel. I put him on there because, hey, he's not fully on the channel all the time. So that's how it goes. We'll get Sean on here and we'll find something to talk about next week. And you can all get on here and make fun of him and poke fun at him or me or whatever. Because I'll guarantee you right now it's going to be crazy, because when him and I get on the screen together, it can go off the rails so quick. Maybe we'll just talk about the crazy stuff we did when we were kids. I don't know. But with that said, guys, I am Chris Knight. This has been the Real Review 3000. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. We're going to end this broadcast. Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
And everybody go check out his channel. Go ahead and subscribe. Doesn't hurt to subscribe. I'm sure he'll have stuff up very soon for you guys.